What's going on, everyone? We're back with another Past the 40. Our guest today is Jaime Rutt. Jaime, what's happening?
Hey guys.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Excited to have you, as is everyone listening from around the globe. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Los Angeles, in actually Studio City, which is a little north LA.
Mm-hmm. And where exactly? House, office? There's a big black curtain behind you, as there is me. We did not plan matching curtains for this episode, but yeah, we have them.
I'm in my home office, and this curtain is covering one of those like sliding glass door closet things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most apartments have those, so
right.
I'm not a fan of it, so I covered it. But behind there, it's like more of my home office, so it's kind of packed with things. It's not very organized.
All right, so good move with the coverage there.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling about your 40 questions today?
I think I'm ready.
All right.
I think after 40 years on this planet, I can answer 40 questions.
We should be ready for 40 questions after 40 years. That's a very good point. So let's get to it.
All right.
I'm actually going to audible and add one question to the front. I just saw a tattoo on your wrist. For people listening rather than watching, there is a tattoo. I would like you to explain what's going on there.
All right, so this tattoo is it's a voodoo goddess, Ursula, and women pray to her for love and men fear her. And at the time when I was and she's also the goddess of all things creative and dance. So at the time, this is my first tattoo, and I had something different in mind when I went to the tattoo artist. And then she said, oh, that's cool, but let me show you this. And she didn't know anything about my life, but at the time I went through a breakup, and the guy was like, I don't know if I want to get married and have kids, and he was fearful. But I'm also, a very creative person, and I dance. So when she showed me this tattoo, first she showed it to me, and visually it was beautiful. And then she told me the whole story behind it. And of course I said, hold on, I got to research more and make sure, like, whatever this means, I want it on my body forever. And as I read about it, I'm like, yeah, this is where I am in life. This is a good thing. So
you said that was your first tattoo. You have others?
Yeah, so this is my first tattoo, and I have the same tattoo artist has done all my tattoos. I have her do all the ink in this like kind of brown henna color, so it's a little more feminine. It's not that stark black. And then all my tattoos are on like the back of my body because I teach all the time. So if you're standing behind me in a class, you can easily see all my tattoos, but if you're facing me face to face, you can't. And it just kind of started to happen that way and trend that way. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this theme that's going on. So yeah, so if I'm teaching, get to see all the tattoos. It's kind of exciting.
Very cool. You're a self-described rock and roll gypsy soul. Can you please elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, so I'm from Detroit, so I have a deep passion for all things rock and roll. We have a lot of great rock musicians that have come out of Detroit, and I'm very proud of that, and I was raised on that. My mom loves rock music. So the gypsy soul part of it is, I've moved all over. I've lived in New York, LA twice. From Detroit, so it's just kind of the thing. It's kind of my thing. Although I've been in LA for a long time now, so this is pretty much home.
So, rock and roll fan, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, okay, so here's the thing. I don't sing. I will backup dance for anyone who wants to do karaoke. Like this move is really good if you're singing in front of me. That is really good.
Right.
But yeah, singing, I can't sing, and that is one thing in life that the next 40 years, I might try to get some lessons and put on a concert for my friends.
Here's the thing. A lot of people that do karaoke can't sing. That's sort of part of the allure. So
no, but I'm surrounded by so many amazingly talented friends who can really sing that right. They, nail some song. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to get up now and do my version.
Right. Can't step to the mic then.
No.
What type of engineering did you study, and at what age did you realize this just ain't for me?
Yeah, so I have a BS in industrial engineering. So for those of you who don't know, you kind of learn a little bit of everything, a little bit of mechanical, a little bit of chemical, a little bit of electrical. And the idea is most industrial engineers are project managers. We're super organized. We know how to kind of coordinate people and bring people together to get a job done. I was young. When you get out of college, I graduated early. I graduated in 3 years because I was like, I want to get done with school and I want to get out there in the world and work. Yeah, imagine that. I want to get out there and work.
Crazy young thought.
I took my time and hung out, partied a little more, and enjoyed the process. But so my first job was with General Motors, and it's just, even though I like a good hot muscle car, I really realized at a young age, probably that first couple years, that I was like, I don't really love talking about cars all day. And it was a really male dominant field. It was really, and, it's, the car industry, it's a little old school. So being a young girl in it was pretty tough. And I just didn't like the fight every day. It was just like battling every day. So I just had gotten laid off a couple times actually in my young engineering career because I was always the youngest and the one that wasn't married and didn't have a family. So like how many times I had a conversation with the manager, like, Jaime, you're so good. We love you, but you're not married, you don't have kids. And, we're trying to take care of the people who do. I understood that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, so it's just always happening. So finally the third time that happened, I was like, you know what? I had always been teaching Pilates and always doing fitness. I thought I'm just going to try and do this myself, and be self-employed. That way as hard as I work is as long as I'll stay employed.
Right.
And now it's been 15 years that I haven't worked for someone.
Then must be going pretty well.
I do miss paid vacations, and sick days.
But hey, pros and cons to everything.
Exactly.
Hell's Bells Burlesque. Tell us about that.
Okay, so Hell's Bells Burlesque kind of combines my dance background with my love of rock music. So when I first moved to LA, my second audition I went on was for this club in Santa Monica, and the girl who was running it was putting together Hell's Bells Dancers. That was the name of it. And this group of us went, and the first group of us that got hired, we then kept the company running for 10 years. It's still running now. I don't run it anymore. I just kind of host shows and dance because I'm doing other projects. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we turned it into this like movement here in Los Angeles. And that specific style, first we were just doing live shows and performing. And then women were like, oh my God, can you teach us how to do what you do? Like, we want to be able to do that. And we're like, of course we can. Like, every woman knows how to be sexy and have that kind of fun, like hair flip, rock and roll feeling. So then do you remember when Living Social, remember those deals? Mm-hmm. It's before Groupon. Okay. Yeah. So Living Social would run a deal for 24 hours, and you had to buy that deal within that 24 hours. We sold like 1,500 deals in 24 hours. It was like, and Living Social was like, who are you guys? Right. And we were like, obviously there's a need for this kind of thing. So that kind of pushed us from, we were performing all the time around Los Angeles, and then it pushed us to teaching all the time. And then we started teaching on talk shows and on reality shows, and it just kept going and going and going. Of all
those shows that you taught on, is there a favorite experience or a crazy, weird, Hollywood type of thing that happened or that stands out?
How long do we have? I think our favorite, I'm saying this collectively because we pitched an idea to the Tonight Show. So the movie Burlesque came out. So I was kind of on the edge of it going, all right, this is going to be really good for us. So I had a couple of friends who helped me pitch ideas to different producers at different shows. So we pitched one of the producers at the Tonight Show. And we said, okay, it's, why don't we teach, Ross the intern was still with them. So we said, why don't we teach Ross how to do a striptease? And they were like, we love that idea, but why don't we save it for the Christmas show? And we did this whole thing where Ross came out in a Santa suit. And we stripped him out of the Santa suit. And then I know it was amazing. And they composed music for us specifically to do a little dance before Ross came out.
Right.
And messengered it over to my Pilates studio at the time. And I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, that was probably our favorite because they loved the creativity that we came up with, and we were able to collaborate with them. And it was a really fun show.
That's very cool. That was with Jimmy Fallon as the host?
That was the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Jay Leno, so before Fallon.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could give a TED Talk on any subject, what would it be?
Oh, that would be definitely empowering women through movement. So leading back to burlesque and what I saw with that whole kind of movement of teaching women the power of burlesque and teaching women how to connect with their feminine selves and their sexual side, that you would see women transform within an hour class. And I was like, wow, we really need this, especially when women are really powerful and they're career women. Like, you have to kind of suppress that a little bit to be professional and so on. And then you get women in a class, and within an hour, they have a little more sass to them. Their energy has changed. They're lit up in their eyes. So I would definitely do a talk about empowering women through movement. Very cool. Yeah.
Can men do burlesque in that world?
They can. Yeah. I've taught men, women, transgender, cross-dressers. I've taught men how to walk in heels. That's a popular one. Now there's a whole movement where men are dancing in heels, and they dance better than me in heels. So.
Is that right?
But yeah, we live in LA, so there's a lot of there's people doing it for personal reasons, or they're studying for a role. So yeah.
What are you?
I could teach you burlesque.
Listen, I love dancing. I love learning new things. I don't know about the heels, but in general, I'm probably in. I'm trying, post 40. I'm just trying to say yes to anything that kind of comes my way. Not like Jim Carrey and Yes Man, like a notch below that. Like, sure, why not? But I'm in.
Like try it once kind of thing.
Why not? What are you excited about right now?
Right now, I just finished planning a trip to Europe in July. So 7 days in Sweden and 7 days wine tasting through France. And that was my gift to myself for my 40th birthday. Yeah.
That is a way to treat yourself.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yes.
What's a great piece of advice that stands out in your life?
I think it's really good to have mentors in life. And I was lucky to come across this man named Miguel Enciso. He's a TV director here in Los Angeles. And we had worked on a couple of projects together. And then we just always became friends where we bounce ideas off of each other because we're always working on creative things. And he has a saying, whatever's worth doing is worth overdoing. And whenever we shoot videos or we work on some kind of fitness project, we'll film it and he'll go, that's great. Now I need you to do it bigger.
Right.
So I'll say, oh, that felt so big. That felt like it was right. And he's like, yeah. And then I'll watch the playback and I'm like, oh. But he carries that theory through life. And I see it in everything that he does. And I'm like, you know what? That's a really good thing. If you're going to do it, go big, whatever you're doing.
More cowbell.
So, more cowbell, always.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, a forensic scientist.
Really? How did that come about?
I was a super nerd. Like that is, obviously the engineering degree gives it away. I loved like science behind things. And then somewhere along the way, this is way pre, internet. So you couldn't really search these things. Someone told me that I would have to be a police officer for like 5 years before I could like get a job. And I was like, oh no. I don't want to carry a gun. Oh no. And then I was like, okay, well, changing gears. Now what I want to do.
Right.
So that's all the way up until like junior high. I'm like, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to solve crimes. And I was like, ooh, I don't want to do the first part of the job.
Right.
That was too scary to me.
Process, not for you. Is there someone from your past that you feel you still owe an apology to?
Oh, let me think about this. I think a lot about now with the whole era of cyberbullying, like I'm super happy I didn't grow up in that era.
Yeah.
But I know there was like in grade school, there were kids. I wasn't necessarily the teaser, but sometimes I would laugh. Because you're a kid and you're like, oh my God, that's funny.
Sure.
Now I think back on that, I'm like, that was an asshole thing to do. Like, it wasn't funny. Like when I had glasses and I was really skinny, so people would like ask me, could you see Hubble telescope? So like people made fun of me, like my glasses were telescopes and stuff, but you didn't ever feel like it like, I don't know. It was a different time, but no. So to answer your question, probably laughing at kids when I probably should have been standing up for them. Mm-hmm. In hindsight,
I'm sure we've all done that at one time or another.
Yeah.
What is something that you've tried before that you will never ever try again?
Okay, so I am afraid of heights. Like get like the flippy stuff. Like I can't even watch those videos on Facebook where people are like mountain biking down some kind of crazy cliff.
Those are insane.
Oh my God. Like I see it on my feed. I'm like, nope. And I just like scroll up like, no, I can't watch it. So I attempted to go to the top of the Sears Tower in Chicago. I was like, it'll be fine. It's like a building. There's no problem. As you go up that elevator, it's so fast. It kind of rocks a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like glued to the elevator door and everybody gets out and I'm like sweating. I couldn't do it. And I was able to like kind of inch my way out against the wall. And I said to my friends, like, I can't, like, I couldn't even talk. And the elevator says, he's like, do you want to come back down? And I was like, So he had to wait for me to like scoop myself. Like I couldn't take a step off of the wall. It was in my head. I was like, oh, I'm going to be fine. No problem. Yeah, no, never again. And then I didn't feel good for like hours. Like, but I had my like stress level was like off the charts.
Right. So when you're going to Switzerland or Sweden?
Sweden.
Sweden. All right. Switzerland, there's a lot of mountains and skiing and outdoor activity type of. I remember when I went to Switzerland, like people were bungee jumping and jumping out of planes. Like that was like a norm there.
No, I think I would have a heart attack. Like someone's like, oh, you should get over your fear of heights and go like skydiving.
Right.
Or bungee jumping. I'm like, no, that I would probably have a heart attack like at the door when they're ready to push me out. Like I get it. I've seen videos. It looks exhilarating, but my body physically is like, no, don't do it.
If you won the lottery tomorrow, what are 3 things that you know for sure you would do with the cash?
Okay. 3 things for sure. So I always have the first thing I would do is I have one brother and my parents are still married. I would, whatever the amount of money, I would split it 3 ways. Like no matter what, like if it's 20 million, everybody gets their portion because I want everybody to like in my family to do what I can do and so on. I don't want you to ever ask me for money or think, no, here you go. We'll split it all away. And also pay back for my parents for all the years they've probably helped me out financially. Sure. Like probably not enough millions. So yeah, split it 3 ways. And then I would definitely I love the new, and I would do one like stupid thing, like spend it on stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. I love the new Maserati, the new like coupe 2-door. Oh, I would definitely purchase one of those, like shiny black with beige interior.
Nice little toy.
Yes, exactly. And then
sure.
I would hire a financial advisor and you tell me what I can spend every couple months. That would be my 3rd thing. Like I wouldn't buy anything else. I would pay somebody really good money to make me more money.
You are an admirable daughter and sister, I must say.
They're good. They're good family. They've kept me, you know how your family they're your cheerleaders and, sure. Shoulders to cry on. So sure. They're worth it. They're worth it.
If you could have personally witnessed an event in history, what would you want to have seen?
This is a good one. I had to think about this one because right away I went to like, what rock concert would I want to see back that you'll never see again?
That's fair.
Some people go like straight up history. I'm like, I would want to see Led Zeppelin did a tour in like 77 through the States where it was like 70,000 people, 80,000 people. One concert got shut down because it was too many. I definitely want to go. I would want to see a live version of Zeppelin, 77 years Zeppelin though. Yeah, when they were fresh.
There have been other answers to this question that were recently. Somebody said Woodstock. Last year, somebody said like this Bob Marley show that their parents were at that said it was just like the best show they've ever been to. So like that's not completely out of left field where like you have to say, oh, I want to go see some proper historical event. Yeah,
I was like, ooh, I'm more music than history for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you taking anything for granted?
I think I take time for granted. I don't think, I know. Because one thing I work on, and I have been trying to work on the last couple of years, is slowing down. I have all these ideas and all these things I always want to do. And, when you're working on passion projects and when you're self-employed, it's really, you don't sometimes take a weekend off or you don't take 2 days off. Or like just this past Saturday, I took a full Saturday off. Mm-hmm. No clients, no work, no projects. Because I haven't done that in like 4 months.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that needs to not be a normal thing anymore, but it happens quite often with myself. So I think I do take time for granted. I think I can always run like that and there'll always be more time, even though I think I'm going to live to like 103. But still, you don't know if you're going to. And I'd be really pissed off if I didn't take a day off and go to the beach.
For sure. We need that.
Yeah.
What are Strapolates and how would they be beneficial to someone who's listening now?
Okay. So Strapolates is the company that I started 2 years ago, and I manufacture Pilates straps. So if you have not taken a Pilates class, there's machines for Pilates. Some people do mat work Pilates and some people do machine Pilates. Mm-hmm. On all the machines, there's straps that are clicked into,
springs.
Springs are like leather handles and so on. Anyway, those straps, most busy studios, and this is not to discredit studio owners, but you don't have time to wash the straps between every single client, especially if you're a busy studio and you have 10 reformers and so on. So what happens is some people, you get sweaty hands and you have sweaty feet and your hands and your feet go in the same strap. Or if you have socks on, fine, but what about your sweaty hands? Like you would be surprised after 20 years of teaching how many people have like really sweaty palms. Now, most of the straps are cloth, they're fabric. So you can wipe them down with a disinfectant, but it would be like wiping off your sweaty shirt with a wipe. It's like not really going to get it clean.
Right.
So over years of teaching, and then of course flu season when people are like, and then they put their hands in the straps, like I unclick those and put them in a bag and then click a new pair on. But it gets expensive and time
Sure.
consuming to do that. So I saw a need to create straps for people to own individually, especially for busy cities. And it's fun. They're fashionable, so you can accessorize them with your outfit.
So
And
you bring the strap into the studio and you click it on for your workout and then take it to go.
exactly. Yep. And there's a little cool like ring that like hooks them together. You can hook it on your purse so they can just kind of hang on your gym bag, and then they're always kept together as a pair. And yeah, you click on fresh straps that only you have touched and sweated on, and then you unclick them and take them with you. If you want to wash them, you can, but they're yours.
That sounds fantastic. I mean,
Thanks.
I'm not a Pilates guy. I've tried it a couple times for sure, but
Yeah.
how's it doing? How is that going?
It's good. You know, it's a new product.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a niche market in the sense of like some
Sure.
people are like, they don't think about the fact that like, hey, I saw 20 people today and those are the same straps. So they don't think about that. And then when I
Right.
tell them that, they're like, oh God, that's disgusting. I'm
Right.
like, kind of, you know, even the like cleanest studios, you just can't keep up. You're not, and the straps have metal on them. So it's not like they're going to tear up your washers if you're constantly a studio owner washing them at the studio. So yeah. Anyway, my point is, it's getting people to understand
You have
that.
to educate. Yeah, you have to educate the market. Yeah.
Right. So that's been a new thing. And plus, you know, I teach full time too. So I haven't been able to give as much time into the marketing of it.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a slow and steady pace.
What is something that hangs on the wall in your home?
Oh, my favorite piece of art. My best friend Natasha got me. It's old wood slats, and it's a piece of artwork. It's a steering wheel with a Playboy bunny where the horn would be, and the bottom it's stenciled Detroit.
Nice.
And she was like, one night I was up drinking wine and I saw this and thought of you. So she just like ordered it and sent it to me, and I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces of artwork.
That's a good friend right there.
Yeah.
Why is your favorite hobby, whatever that may be, the best thing ever? Sell me on it.
Oh. Okay, it's probably not a very hard sell, but my favorite hobby is drinking wine with friends. Mostly because it's relaxing. I get to catch up with friends. It's delicious. I love getting into all of the different flavors of wines and the regions. That's why I'm going wine tasting in France.
Yep.
So it's a very social thing for me. And yeah, and there's health benefits to it. You'll live longer. Is that convincing?
I'm in. Sold. How did you celebrate your 21st birthday?
Oh my God. Someone asked me this the other day, and I know my two best friends I was with at the time, Beth and Bridget. And I remember we went out to have some drinks, but it wasn't like a crazy thing. Like we just kind of were like, oh, let's go out and celebrate tonight. And we went to this it was in Ferndale, Michigan. We went to this like dance club kind of bar thing. And I think my birthday was on a weeknight, so it was super quiet. And we were like, eh. So that on that exact birthday, that's what we did. But it wasn't really like epic. There wasn't like crazy drinking stories. Like, yeah. Yeah.
What is a great compliment that you received that stayed with you?
Okay. There is a rock and roll writer who met me through some Hells Bells projects that we did. And it was my birthday one year, and he, you know how people say, comment on Facebook, like, happy birthday, and this and that. Well, he chimes in and writes, you are the classic rock and roll song that we can't get out of our heads. I was like, I sat there and I read it like 3 times. I was like, that's amazing. That's amazing. That needs to be on a frame somewhere. Like, how, like, it was so, I'm like, if someone thinks of me that way, I'm so happy for so many reasons.
Can you say it one more time just for yourself and for everyone else? Because I'm sure you love to say that because it just sounds amazing.
You are like that classic rock and roll song that we can't get out of our heads.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
What is something that you complain about more than anything else?
I just don't have enough time. I wish there was another hour in the day.
Right.
Like, I want there to be an imaginary window of time that no one knows about except me. And I feel like 2 hours, you know what I mean? Like,
Freeze everyone else.
Yeah, you're not using it for sleeping, or it's like maybe 2 hours for me to read a book, or maybe 2 hours for me to stare at the wall and get my thoughts together. Like, no one knows about those 2 hours. So yeah, I'm always complaining, like, I wish there was a little more time in the day, but more specifically that wasn't designated for anything, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Let me know if you figure that out, because I'm in. I want some of that.
I know.
What's something that all 40-year-olds listening now should go and do or try ASAP?
Roller skating. I feel like we need to connect back in with the youthfulness of us. Like once you get to be 40, you're like, I'm too old. I don't do that anymore. And or something what you did when you were a kid, you know, jumping on a trampoline, roller skating, hanging upside down on monkey bars. Like I have nieces and nephews, and I hung upside down on a monkey bar once with them, and I was like, okay, weird. I used to just flip off of here, like with no hands, and now I'm like, where do I put my hands? Like, how do I get off of this monkey bar? Yeah, so I would say don't stop doing things you did when you were younger just because you're 40 now.
So, do you know that for my 40th birthday last year, I did 40 things throughout the year. That was like my present to myself, essentially. One of the 40 things I did was go roller skating. That was on my list of 40 because it was one of my favorite things to do forever, okay, but I don't get to do it often enough.
No, and that was because being 40, we grew up and that's what we did. Like you'd meet your friends and go roller skating.
Right.
So the new Foster the People song, the Sit Next to Me, I feel like that would be an epic roller skating song. Like I was listening to it in the car the other day. I'm like, this would be that jam where you could kind of go backwards and spin. Like I had already choreographed moves to that song on roller skates.
I personally can backwards and spin to any song, but I get you. What's a skill that you want to acquire in the next 40 years besides singing? We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, well, that was the one. So for my 40th birthday, my first plan was to get singing lessons and be able to sing like 6 songs decently in my range and do an actual show for all of my friends who all are entertainers. Okay. Well, I couldn't put that together. So I want to do that for my 45th birthday. So that's for sure a skill. So we already talked about that. Possibly speak a language fluently. Like right now I'm have the Babbel app. I'm trying to brush up on my French before I go to France.
Yep.
But to be really fluent, like beautifully fluent in a language, I would like that.
I would love that as well. For me, not for you, but I would like it for you too.
Yeah.
Who comes to mind when you think of the word successful?
Jimmy Buffett. I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan. As a creative person, he keeps going and going and going. Like, oh, now I'm going to write a book. Oh, now I'm going to open a play on Broadway. Was it on Broadway or was it off Broadway?
I do not know.
Oh, because he has one that just opened. I don't know if it was on Broadway. But still, like, he's always creating something new.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Interesting answer. Let's say you're going on a road trip from LA back home to Detroit and you have to bring 3 people with you. Who's in the car? Cannot be a family member.
Can I pull Jimmy Buffett into it?
Of course. You're 40 now. You can make any decisions that you want and interpret these questions however you'd like.
All right, I'm going to go music all the way. I'm going to go Jimmy Buffett.
Yep.
I'm going to go Rick Rubin.
Nice.
And I'm going to throw in Madonna.
Okay.
Because that would be crazy.
Who in that car is in charge of the radio?
Oh shit, Rick Rubin. I think. I feel like he would be the most disgruntled if he couldn't handle. Yeah.
If certain songs come on that he's just not. Yeah.
Right. Right.
What are 3 words that your best friend would use to describe you?
So I did a little test this morning. I had an idea in my head. And I texted a handful of friends, like, okay, 3 words to describe me. Energetic right away, which I'm like, okay. Enchanting, which I loved. And my brother threw a good one out, connector. And I was like, I love that because I actually love connecting people. Mm-hmm. And I like that came up as one of the top words to describe me.
Nice. Yeah. No one's used the enchanting before. That's a rare term to describe someone, but I love it. So if I talk to one of those people who you texted this morning, how would he or she fill in the following sentence? I love Jaime. She's the best, but I wish she were a little less blank.
I'm a terrible passenger in a car. Like, I like to give directions over Waze and over, I think I'm like, no, don't listen to Waze. Right. You should make a right here. Don't make a left there. And they hate that. It drives everybody crazy. I'm usually right, though, because I've already done it and I've already fallen into the trap that Waze makes you make lefts when there's no light and there's too much traffic. I just,
Right. Okay.
It's only to help.
It's good to know. What's the worst job you've ever had?
When I was 16, I was a telemarketer. It was like one of those teenage jobs, but my shift was like 5 to 9 or something like that. So I was always calling people at dinner time, and they were always like, "I'm eating dinner, hang up. I'm eating dinner, hang up." And I was like, I couldn't switch my shift, so I always had to have that shift. And I'm like, nobody wants to talk to us during dinner. Like, they just don't. So that made it really a really long shift.
Otherwise, though, you might have gotten, I'm at work, click, I'm at work, click. You know, there's always a reason not to talk to a telemarketer.
Yeah, and it was like straight up cold calls. Like, no one wants to do that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Who is someone that would be a great guest on this podcast?
Ooh.
You are a connector.
They have to be 40 plus.
Around there, sure.
My friend Chris Newberg, who's a comedian, he's also from Michigan.
Nice.
Entrepreneur back in the day. He used to have a process serving company, and he would have hysterical stories.
What did he have? A process serving company?
Yeah. So if you had to get served papers, he had a company that would do that.
Right.
And he pretty much only hired hot blondes as process servers because he knew that like
no one's turning them away.
Yeah. I was like, that's brilliant. Yeah.
What are you curious about these days?
I go into a rabbit hole of like videos and shows on ancient civilizations. Like, if Ancient Aliens is on the History Channel, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sit here all day and watch this. Like, I want to know, did aliens build the pyramids? I want to know. Like, I feel like if I just sit long enough, one of the episodes will finally tell me who built them. So anything of the crazy structures where you're like, how were these stones moved? Yeah, I want to know. I really want to know.
So you don't have an answer yet? Because my next question was going to be, so who built the pyramids?
Yeah, I wish. I'm going to go with aliens because there's no human life form that could do it. Or like energy, I don't know, some magical people who can like move stones.
Right.
Yeah.
For your last meal, what are you eating?
Oh my God. Last meal. Ooh. I'm going to go sushi.
Anything specific? Any specific venue for sushi, or you like the tuna? Are we talking uni? What are we looking at?
I'm not really picky. I can't have shellfish, so I'll do anything else. I like. Okay, if I can pick a location, let's go Tokyo, fresh sushi. Let's do. I don't know. I don't want to be picky. Okay. I want to have like a whole bunch.
How
of
about
different
a chef's omakase?
Exactly.
So they can just throw stuff at you and you would just eat it.
Perfect.
What is a quirk of yours that few people know about?
I hate crunchy food like apples and jicama. Like, it's so loud. And then I realized, you get targeted for things on Facebook. Like, I was obviously talking about this with somebody.
Sure.
Because I have a friend who loves jicama, and even if she's eating jicama next to me, I'm like, I cringe at the sound of it. It's a thing. Like, there's an actual like disorder, like loud food or people or like repetitive noise. It's like a trigger. Like, I don't get angry. I just get like nails on a chalkboard.
Totally. So first off, somebody a couple episodes ago on this podcast answered this question, other people chewing, not necessarily just specific crunchy foods, just like chewing. But you don't eat apples because of the sound?
Yeah. And it's when I look back at it, when I was a kid, my mother would cut up apples and she would just leave them on the table. Like, if you're hungry, have an apple.
Yeah.
And I remember like staring at them as a kid, like, I can't like this, or even like if you bite into like a popsicle, that sound, woo, like it literally makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Wait, so nothing crunchy? Like, what about a taco shell? Or a chip? What about a chip?
That's different. It's like think of like when you bite into jicama or an apple, that specific.
It drags.
Yes, and the texture of it, like it's that. Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that's that like a pear, pears, apples, jicama, no.
All right. I don't bite into jicama often, but apple, I have a lot of apples in my life.
Yeah, I can do like applesauce, apple juice. I get
right.
my daily apple in different ways.
Just start pureeing everything. Walk around with a pureer in hand.
Yes.
Who is your celebrity crush, if you have one?
Of course. I'm a big fan of The Rock.
Me, as am I.
Yeah, I like when I like get up at like 4 in the morning or 4:30 and like he's already posted a fitness tip for the day and
Hmm.
you're like, how? Do you ever sleep? I don't think you sleep. Yeah.
Can't outwork that guy.
No way. That's for sure.
If you could have a drink with one fictional character, who would that be?
Oh, fictional character. Fictional character. Okay, I would say I'm gonna go movie. I'm gonna go Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. Who
Okay.
was it? Dalton, right? Was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Dalton.
go him because I feel like just having a drink with him in that situation would be a lot of fun.
Hmm. Did he
And that was
even
Patrick Swayze in his heyday too, so he's like super handsome and sexy.
super badass too in that movie?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he drank alcohol. He was just
Right.
always focused.
That's true. Did he ever have a beer in his hand in that movie?
I don't. I would guess not. Haven't seen it in a minute, but I don't think so.
It's a good fun fact. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now.
Totally. Any excuse to watch Roadhouse is a good one.
Exactly.
What's a piece of advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Oh, chill the fuck out, if I can say that. Like I was so, I have to be perfect and I have to get everything done and I have to be on this timeline. Like I was so hyped up in my 20s. Like I have a lot of energy anyway, but like in my 20s it was like hyper. Like if it wasn't this way or that way, it was like the end of the world. So I would have saved so much stress by not really caring as much about certain things.
At what point did you kind of make a little turn where that wasn't the case and you're more even keeled about things?
Probably my late 20s. I think it's after you go through, like, by my late 20s, I had, like, lost grandparents and, you know, you go through breakups, you lose jobs, you have money, you don't have money. By the time I got to, like, my late 20s, early 30s, like, I feel like I had experienced a good amount of life to really go, okay, what's important here? You know, and now at 40, like, there are so many things that happen. I'm like, yeah, I've kind of dealt with something like this. It's going to be okay. Like, life is going to be okay.
Sure.
When you're young, you think everything is the end of the world. So I would say like late 20s, 28, maybe to 32, I kind of started coming to the light. And
Yeah.
then in the last like 2 years, I've been like, yeah, okay, I've kind of been through this or that in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So
If you could relive one single day from your past exactly as it happened the first time, what day would you choose to experience all over again?
the very first thing that comes to my mind is when my oldest niece was born. She was the only one I was in Michigan for when she was born, and I got to hold her like moments after she was born. She had like the perfect fingernails and the perfect long eyelashes, and like she like opened her eyes and looked at me, and I was like dead. Oh, like your heart grows like oh my god. So that I could relive like that exact moment. That was so cool.
Awesome. What do you use or turn to relieve or release stress?
I'm a big fan of meditating. I have to meditate every day. It grounds me. You know, all day long I train other people. I motivate other people. So I have to make sure that I have that time in the morning. So I get up. I rise about 5:30. And it could be 10 minutes, could be 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a set amount of time, but I have to connect with me for that day and get my energy straight because you know, sometimes you wake up in a bad mood, you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, I never want to carry that energy into somebody else's day. I love that saying, like, be responsible for the energy you bring into a room, be responsible for the energy you bring into a relationship. Like, you know, if I'm not in the perfect mood, I'm not going to, you know, darken someone else's day. So I have to use that time in the morning to, like, get it straight, get it right, and then go out so I can help and motivate and train people.
For sure. If you could work for any person in the world, who would it be, and what job would you want?
This one is interesting. This is a tough one for me because being self-employed, you don't really think about working for someone,
Totally.
you know, and you know, I go with something, you know, more fun where I'd want to be mentored by somebody like, you know, like a Richard Branson or a Rick Rubin or something like that who's had, you know, some time building companies. 'Cause I also love business as well. You know, being an entrepreneur, like people who create big businesses is fascinating to me.
For sure.
So I don't know if I have a specific person. That was going to take me some time to think about.
All right.
Because you're, you know, self-employed for so long, you never like. It's almost like you don't think about working for anybody because that slows you down, slows your role. You know.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't plan to really work for anyone else, but that's why these questions are not all fastballs down the middle. You know, we got to expand a little bit.
Yeah, you got to throw it out there.
If you were hosting this podcast, what's a question that you would want to ask other 40-year-olds?
I would want to know what year you would want to live to and why. Because when I hit 40, I thought, oh my God, how much of life I've already lived up until this point. Like, I feel like I've had a really great full life. Like, I feel like I've accomplished a lot, but then there's so many more things I want to accomplish. So I'm like, okay, if I live to 80 and I work and I do these things I want to do, that's a good amount of time. And then I'm like, well, what if I lived like, but a healthy, like 103, you know, like
Sure.
healthy, smart, like how much life and influence and things you could see. And I want to see what changes in the world. I want to see what my nieces and nephews do. Like, I want to see what happens, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. I don't know where the world's going, but that's what I want to know. Like, when you're at 40 and you sit there and think about all you've accomplished, how old, what age do you want to get to and why?
Did you settle on 103 as your answer to that question?
I think I want to do 103, but I want to be healthy, like with it 103.
Yeah, of course.
I kind of want to be sassy. Like, I'm going to dye my hair pink and like give people advice that they don't want.
Yeah,
like,
I could see that.
Listen to me because I'm 103. I've earned this.
103 with pink hair. I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Amazingly, that we flew by here and we're at our last question right now.
Oh, wow.
Right?
This has been so fun.
That was pretty quick. What song did you choose to play us out here today for those listening on audio? On video, sorry, we just got to cut you. But you chose a song to end this podcast. What do you got?
Ramble On, Led Zeppelin.
Why?
Because I feel, again, I've got some things to do. I got to ramble on. I got to keep going. See you after the summer, you know?
All right. Yeah. Nice and easy. Where can people find you online?
Okay, so if you can go to my website, bodybombshell.com. You can find me on Instagram at @thebodybombshell, or you can go to Twitter and it's bodybombshell.
All right, nice and easy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jaime. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Awesome.
Fun stuff. Lots to think about.
I appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me.
Cool. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you on the next episode of Past the 40.